Welcome back to Trackmania 2020 Spring 2025 campaign. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be making a tier list of all the maps in the campaign. And we're going to be viewing my record for each one. I improved quite a bit on some maps off stream, so we'll get to view those new PVs as well. And then, yeah, we're gonna put on a tier list, plus plus to minus minus. This campaign was generally pretty good, so I think we're gonna be more on the positive side. So first we got map 01, the classic. But first, I need to pull up my ghost. And there we go. Yeah, so I got just under a 24. This is a pretty, it's the typical 01 full speed map. And if you want to gain time, you have to take the tightest lines possible while holding speed. So nothing too crazy. But I think it is good enough for us to, give it a plus, I think. So why don't we go ahead and do that. Very inoffensive. Nothing wrong with it, but definitely nothing better than a plus. So why don't we move on to the next track. This one's the dirt track. I honestly thought this one was pretty hard for a white level track. So yeah, you want to get the snow slide down here, which I have a really good start here. I don't know how I got to start this good, but I definitely fooled a bit towards the end. But yeah, this is a nice dirt track. Very tricky for newcomers because you got a lot of tight turns up hills like this are very hard. But I did quite enjoy this track. Just higher difficulty than you're expecting for a white level track, you know? So why don't we go back to our tier list. I think this one's a plus as well. I might even go plus is very high. You know what? I like dirt. We'll put it plus. Why not? Alright, so next one. So here we have the first grass map. So this one's pretty standard for grass, but you got the interesting, mounds there. They're a little tricky to drive. It's a nice introductory map for grass for newcomers. And yeah, just you want to get gear 5 as fast as possible and hold it through the end. So again, nice, easy, chill map for beginners. I think it's a plus. Nothing crazy, but a solid map nonetheless. And now move on to map 4. So map 4 is the water map, interestingly enough. And now this. I think the course is pretty interesting, but water inherently is a weird mechanic. And on top of that, for some reason, the auto time is one of the most ridiculously weak auto times they've ever put on an official campaign track. I think I got this first try by a large margin. It was a very, very easy auto time. So I don't think it's bad, but this is definitely a case where we put it as a neutral. So put 04 there. And you can see my bias in what kind of tracks I like is showing through a bit too. But that's okay. I think we're okay with having biases, right? Besides, my biases are only gonna show up harder later. Which you'll see probably on the blue tracks more so than anything. Alright, so we got this weird ice map, but not ice map. It's very interesting. They definitely didn't want to do like an actual ice map for beginners, but they want to show ice off, and we ended up with this. And I still don't know how to feel about this map, to be honest. Especially with the sand flick over here, which is a cool trick, I will admit. But I feel like you probably, I don't know. I think it's cool to have for like a more advanced player to have. But you're just going to also confuse the new players too, because it's like right in your way. But I don't think it's offensive enough to be a minus. It's just kind of like a weird track where it's like halfway through being a compromise for beginners while also having like this weird trick for more advanced players. So this one, we'll give it a neutral. That's okay. Neutral is fine. So now, going to map 06, first in the green series. This map I did not like, and from what I understand, this is actually a remake of a Trackmania Turbo track or Trackmania 2 track. I know Trackmania Turbo has like a very different design philosophy behind tracks, which might be part of it, but I just did not really enjoy this trick. Just the design of it, just the, you know, this drift coming up the hill too is just whack as hell. So this one is going to be our first minus. I will be flat out with you. I don't think it's horrible, but it is going to be our first minus. Alright, so now we're going to move on to track number 7. This one was the Excite Like Dirt track. And this one I did like quite a bit, but I don't... Hello game. There we go. This one I did like quite a bit. It is difficult to get a good time if you don't understand how to no slide and how to limit your jumps, which is cool, but yeah, I don't know. You don't often get like this kind of dirt in a dirt track, you know. You're not doing all these hops normally. And also the optimal thing is to do a flip in the end, I believe. Like if we look at the record really quick. Let's see. They have to do a flip, right? Yeah. I think it's kind of wicked that the optimal strat is to do a flip in the very end. So this is going to be a plus. I don't think it's quite enough to be a plus plus. It is a cool track though. And again, I have the extreme dirt bias. So yeah, dirt track plus, easy peasy. So now we're moving on to 08, and we do have a real 08 map this time, which I think is exciting personally. And I got decent time here. You have to do the strat where limit your airtime and gain enough speed to just jump here and then jump right to the finish. And I don't have the greatest landing there, but it is good enough for a pretty strong 20.6, which is not far behind the world record. Now, as far as I feel on this map, I am a strong believer that 08s are cool and should continue to exist. And I think this is quite a good 08 track. So it's getting a plus plus. Bring these back. Alright, so now we're going to move on to track number 9. Now number 9 was a full speed plastic map. So I think this is the only real plastic map in this campaign. And it is cool. You got like full speed action, but not being you know, a traditional full speed map. But I wasn't completely crazy for it. It really just felt like sliding in the right way, like getting the good enough speed slides to just gain speed and get a good time. I wasn't crazy for it. Definitely good enough to be a neutral though. Definitely good enough to be a neutral. So we're gonna toss that up in here. Or no, not there. Not a minus. It's not a minus. It is a neutral. And yeah, we're gonna move on to the next one. It's not amazing, but not bad. Just okay. Alright, so now we got... There we go. So now we got map number 10, which is kind of like an acrobatics map. So, nice little jumps onto the track. And this track was tricky to get like a very good time on. And yeah, this turn in particular is just so hard to do that turn without losing so much speed in the jump earlier. I think this map is a plus. I think it's a style that we don't normally get in campaigns, and I think it's done fairly well. But I don't think it's an amazing track. So we'll give it a plus. Alright. So now we are out of the green tracks and moving right back into blue tracks. So this one was interesting. There is a cut where you go backwards, and I did try to do the cut, and I had a harder time getting a faster time with the cut than I did just going the normal way. So I just go the normal way, my PB, I'm sorry. I know the cut's faster though. But yeah, it's a cool map. No steering is definitely a little strange. And I'm not really crazy for that final drift. That final drift is very hard. I think this is a neutral map. Maybe the cut. Actually, I'll give it a plus. Only because there's that weird cut you can do, which is maybe not intentional, but you know, it's cool. And they used no steering to force a weird jump, which is cool. And then, yeah, I think it's just a solid map. Alright, and now we're on map 12. Let me tell you one thing about me and Bob. I despise bobsleigh. Like, I'm fine hunting on it for medals, but getting a good time on bobsleigh is just so miserable. And on top of that, this is not even a good bobsleigh map. It's just not. This last bobsleigh is so dumb. Like, that drop down is just designed to kill you, you know? I just really did not like this map. Really did not like this map. If it, like, they've done good bobsleigh maps in the past, so I know it's possible. But this one was not it. It's not the bobsleigh I'm looking for. If I'm ever looking for bobsleigh. Minus minus. Sorry, I just didn't like it. That's alright though. We got plenty of other tracks to move on to. Alright, so now we have a remake from TMNF. I don't remember exactly which map it is, but it is a remake from that game. I want to like this map because I do like TMNF, but I feel like this is one of the worst maps they could have picked to remake because it's so basic. And maybe I'd feel different if it was part of the green series or a white series, because like you look at this as an 01 map and it's like, oh, it's cool, you know. Like, there's no drifts. You just literally just drive, and you turn, and you land while turning, and it gives you a little slide, and you get to the end. And it's just about how optimal you can make it. And I just don't enjoy that. It's just too simple of a map. It's too simple of a map. And I really wish, like, I want them to remake more TMNF maps. I just want them to, you know, choose more complex maps. So this one, I really hate to do it. I really, really do hate to do it. But I think this one does have to get a minus. And it's really a shame that these two remake maps get a minus, but I feel like there has to be better choices, right? There has to be better choices to make. But we'll just move on. We'll move on. So now we go on to map number 14. Now this one is a track you either love or you hate, and there is no in between. It is kind of a Royal style map from when they used to do Royal game mode, where you do a bunch of tricks and acrobatics, which is very cool. And this is like the second time they've done like this kind of style of map, because they did map 20, I think, from a couple campaigns ago, was kind of similar in that aspect. But what I will say about this map, if you're wondering, do I love it or hate it? I absolutely love this map. Especially this guy over here, Mr. Submarine Googly Eyes. So, as you can probably guess by now, it's going to plus plus. We need more of them. Alright. So now we're moving on to the final track of the Blue series. Map number 15. And this was actually quite a hard map to get the author time for a Blue series map, compared to the rest of the maps. Like, every map before this is pretty easy to get the author time. This one, not so. This author time is actually fairly cooked. Not super cooked though. Now, as for the track itself, I actually do quite like it. Kind of like this back and forth and wall rides you get. And I love the gimmick where you have to go all the way to the end and back. There was a ice map that also used the same gimmick a couple campaigns ago, I believe. And again, I just love that gimmick. It's just a cool idea. And the turns end up being quite a bit different going back than on the way there. So it's like a way to utilize the same terrain differently, you know? And I think that's just such a cool idea. and I really, really do hope they make more of these kind of maps. So as for what we'll rate it, I think you can already guess. It's a plus plus. Quite a good map. And now we move on to the Red series, where the difficulty starts spiking a bit. Well, in some aspects. Some of the track is very give or take. Some of the tracks are hard, some of the tracks are easy. And there is not really an in-between. So I actually got quite a good PB on this map. 42, just about flat. And this is kind of a different style of grass map. This is kind of a slow grass. Lots of penalty grass. This tight turn here to try and force you into gear 2. And you have like a tight 180 turn up there using the grass. And then the real trick is at the end you have to hold the gear you're in when you're making a turn, which is very hard because you're doing another 180 turn. And I do know there is a cut here. You can just cut straight across the penalty and it's faster, but intentional way you want to hold the gear. You just have to be very careful about gearing up or down in that final section. So I think this is a cool map. As for what I'd rate it, I think this one is definitely a plus. Plus map, cool map. You know, nothing too crazy about it, but actually is a little crazy. What am I saying? What am I saying? I think the map is actually a bit interesting, but it is a plus map. It is a plus map. And now this one, map 17, is a dirt track. So of course I do have my extreme bias for dirt tracks. It is an outside dirt map, and I think it is a solidly made one, but I honestly think the more I played it when I was looking for better times, the more I realized is like the most standard dirt track of the day map ever. This is like the track of the day dirt map. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna end up giving this an even. Maybe it deserves a plus, maybe it doesn't. But yeah. Also, the other note, the AT on this course is just way too weak. The AT is way too weak on this course. They definitely could have made it a lot harder. So we'll give it even. It's a fine map. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it, but it's like your most standard dirt map, your most standard outside dirt map. So now we're on to map number 18. This one took me just under an hour, I believe, to get the auto time. So this one was quite tricky. It is a sausage tech map, which is one of the harder styles. And it's actually a pretty interesting sausage tech map. You get a bit of a, you know, you want to go across the pipes or the sausage while drifting there. And you got these drop downs avoiding the engine off. And then you got this long straightaway. This is where I lost all my time, by the way. That long straightaway, you shouldn't drift there, but I did. And I lost time there too. I gained it back in the ending, but you know, that 100% could have been like a 43 something at the minimum. That is okay though. It's still solid as far as you know, times go. And honestly, I think this is pretty well made as far as sausage tech maps go. Although I am surprised it's not a black level track. I feel like the difficulty of the track is more appropriate for a black level track. So I'll put it in plus, but maybe it should have been red, you know? maybe it should have been a black level track, but it's fine staying in plus. Alright, so now we're going to move on to track number 19. And this is the actual quote-unquote ice map, because you know, the map number 5 is weird ice, kind of not really, and map number 12 is bobsleigh, which I do not consider real ice. It is kind of full speed ice, but you know. As for this track, it's, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this track, to be completely honest. It has some things going for it, like this. I like this drift here, and I like the start where it's like a hard ice slide into the reactor. But I feel like they should have committed more to having a full ice map. This kind of feels like a weird half-breed in some aspects. And it just doesn't come out satisfyingly, you know. And this also is the track that gatekept a lot of people because so many people are horrible at ice, which is, you know, it's fine. So we're gonna give this a minus. Don't want to hate it, but I'm hating on it. Whoops. Yeah. There you go, you can see I placed it minus. So now we're gonna move on to the final track of the Red Series, which is the Bug Slide map. And I think this map is such a cool idea for a campaign map. That being said, I think this should be a one-time thing. At least in this style, where it's like bug slide, bug slide, bug slide, bug slide. Like, you just have 5 bug slides in a row in one map. But I do think this map is really cool. And it really is just set up to teach you bug slides, which, you know, hopefully one day you'll have an official tutorial so people don't have to look online to learn these things, but that's okay for now. But yeah, this map is very, very cool, and I think is well deserving of the plus plus. So we're gonna move that up there. Very nice work, and we'll move on from the red tracks to the black tracks. And now this is one of 2 tracks I did not improve my PB on in between releasing the videos and now. And this one was quite the track. It is a tough as nails tech track, competitive tech map from I think a TMNF competition, like an actual pro competition. And this map is so good. It's so well designed in the fact that the better you get at holding speed, the harder certain sections become and the easier certain other sections become. So it's like the difficulty changes because the difficulty starts lying in different parts. But it is a very difficult tech track, and it did take me over 5 hours to finally get the auto time on it. But I also respect this map a lot, and I think this is a very good map and is well deserving of being track 21. And that is why it is going to get a plus. I don't think it's quite a... Actually, do we dare go plus plus? Do we dare go plus plus on the map that tortured us for so long? I think so. I think this is a very good track. So we will move on to track number 22. Now this one was a bit of a strange map. For one, the time was really easy for a black level track. Like this map took me 5 minutes, I think, to get the auto time. Something ridiculous like that. I don't think black level tracks should be that easy. But yeah, there's definitely some cool things going on here. You got this mudslide here, which you don't see often in anything, let alone campaign tracks. And you got some, you know, little uphill sliding plastic and some downhill, you know, dirt and grass to the mudslide at the end. I think there are some cool ideas in this track. I just don't really think it comes together well. And I think they can try this mudslide concept again, and you know, hopefully make a better map out of it. But I can't in good conscience give it a plus. I do want to point out one thing though. My ending on my PB is so silly. I hit the wall and I just like glide in, and I was like even with my previous PB, and I just end up getting like a 0.5 out of that. I don't know. It's just really silly. So yeah, this one gets to be an even. Alright. Now we'll move on to track number 22. Or not 22, we already did 22. 23. So this one was a reactor, actually, yeah, it's like kind of a reactor penalty map with some dirt in between. So I do like the off-roading idea, and Nadeo seems to like this idea a lot because they put it in almost every single campaign. But I don't really love this track. Also, this fragile jump here, it feels so unnecessary. I don't really feel like we needed that there, but it's there. So, you know, it's cool. I do love the off-roading tracks. It's a nice change of pace, but I think this one's actually a minus. I just don't think it's that great, and I think the Nadeo can do better as far as the off-roading track goes. So now we got 2 maps left. 2 maps left. 24. Now this one was a half-pipe map. So it's all about, you know, getting these low half-pipe turnarounds. But we already got a half-pipe map earlier on in more of a royal style, which is, you know, map 14. And I think map 14 did the half-pipe better. And then as for the rest of the map, it's I don't know, it's like a mix of like penalty and some grass. And I think this one might be a -2. I'm not crazy about this track. It's it just doesn't come together for me. So yeah, this one is gonna be a minus as well. I just feel the black level tracks were just not quite as good. Alright, and then we've got 1 map left to rate. Map 25. Now map 25 did take me quite a bit. It took me over 3 hours. My PB is quite strong. And this is not a new PB, this is the PB I got finishing the map for the first time. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting map to be in, map 25. The alt of time is very cooked, and you have some different elements going, but it is mostly, you know, plastic. Like, you got a lot of plastic in this map, and a lot of, like, tech turns in between, with some wood. So a little bit of varying elements, but not as much as the normal map 25s have. Usually the map 25s are kind of like a, you know, very mixed track, and this is more plastic tech than anything. And yeah, so it's a cool map. And it's definitely a fitting and challenging map to be the final map. But that being said, I think this map is an even. It's not quite a plus, but it is a solid map nonetheless. And yeah, we'll give it a good old even. So if you want to look at our final tier list, we've got map 2, 8, 14, 15, 20, and 21 are plus plus. So very strong maps. We've got 1, 3, 7, 10, 11, 16, 18 in our plus. And we've got map 4, 5, 9, 17, 22, 25 as our even tracks. Our minus tracks were unfortunately both the two earlier remakes of the earlier campaigns, map 6, map 13, and then map 19, 23, and 24. So unfortunately most of the black level tracks ending up in the lower end. And then the only map I really just despised, just did not like, is map 12. It's just not a good bobsleigh map, and I already hate bobsleigh. So, unfortunately, it alone stays in the bottom. Or maybe fortunately, it means other maps were fairly good, because you'd think there'd be at least one other minus map, but I guess not this time. Alright, so I want to show off my records in the world overall. So we got top 10k times in every piece, every section, and then locally I made sure I did pretty solid. I wanted to make sure I was at least top 50 in the state, top 10k in the world. And yeah, I had some pretty solid times, map 16, 23, 22, and 25. Everything else was just about the top 10k range, if not a little better. But yeah, this map, this campaign was pretty good, and I am pretty excited for the next campaign, because it is the 5th anniversary of Trackmania 2020. So I'm kind of excited to see what they bring. But that is going to do it. I'll see y'all on the next campaign.